another one about calling people out when I don't know if I'm necessarily triggering sales resistance. I think that might be slightly a reason, but
Yeah.
it's more so like when it's like most of when I'm sort of applying the pressure on them, like I'm challenging them a bit, and they can sort of feel it, and they're like, but yeah, like I gotta go now. Is it just I'm applying a little bit like too much pressure and they feel sales resistance, or is there a way I can call them out on that?
So I think your question is too leaned in on the specific scenario. You need to zoom out a lot more. Like it because when you're challenging people, it needs to like at the end of the day, it needs to come from somebody they respect, they know, they trust, they like. Like that's really important. Is like, have you done all of the upfront work for them to accept the challenge that you give them?
Yeah,
Because oftentimes salespeople will do the challenge. Like there was a sales rep that I've been helping on the YouTube automation offer, and he was really good at asking difficult questions. He knew his process, but his prospects were just always like really leaned out and like, oh yeah, why are you asking me these questions? Like, it's not even relevant. Like they would just backfire and they'd be super reactive to him. The
yeah.
problem was he wasn't the type of person that they really liked and respected. He asked great questions, but there was no connection with the prospect at all, right? So it's
Oh,
important that you're carrying yourself that way to have that kind of respect and the kind of reaction that you want when you do ask a tough question, right? So that's why I always focus on the connection all the way throughout the questions. People talk about like rapport and you shouldn't build rapport, but that's just, at the beginning, if you ask about what tea they've had or what they had for breakfast this morning, like who cares? But it's the kind of report where throughout the questions, you're building connections with them throughout. They mentioned about the
okay.
fact that they've been like doing a job in construction for 10 years. 10 whole years. Damn, you must be really good at what you do. Doesn't sound like you're a beginner at all. Like these little comments that you make between questions that allow you to feel more connected with the prospect and just have a
Yeah,
normal conversation.
okay.
It makes that challenge work really well.
Just making the process more conversational per se, right?
Yeah, being the best human being you could be on that call, it's just really the best advice I can give. And that's always going to be the thing that it comes back to is when you're like if you're focused so much on sales skills, you'll start to forget the humanness that you once had when you first started sales. Because when
Yeah,
you first started, you were excited, you loved speaking with people, you was enjoying it because you were just having conversations with people. And then what happens, you get in sales for a bit of time, you start learning all these cool tricks and tactics and skills, and then you lose the human touch and you wonder why the sales skills don't work as well,
yeah.
right? And it's because the more you lose touch with that human side, the more you lose touch with your prospects. So ultimately, that's what you've got to focus yourself on is like, how human am I being that's allowing my challenges to actually land? Um,
Okay,
that was what I'd say.
that makes sense.